Hey guys, it's Friday night, February 6th of 2026. Um, what am I doing at 9:30 on a Friday night? Talking to you guys, of course. I've had a kind of a busy day, and unfortunately I've had a little more gas, and so I'm kind of wobbly right now. But I think I found a discovery, another new discovery. This ceiling heat has more than one zone. And why do I say that? Because last night I took this one out. I'm calling it number 9 because the family room is room 9 in my floor plan. It was smoldering. I took it out at actually this morning at about 1:30. I decided to do it. So here's the thermostat, and then there's the wall plate that I put on to cover it up after I put wire nuts on. Now, I don't have a photo or video of that because I really just wanted to go back to bed and try to clear the air. And I didn't want the kitties going and messing around with that if I were to fall asleep, so I put a cover on it. There will be, at a later time next week, a chance to show you guys what I found inside. But basically, I saw wires with black insulation burns, and I saw black burning on the inside of the box and in the wood. So my complaints to insurance about smoldering wires have been founded now. I have evidence of it, which is why last night I took the time to pull out the thermostat. Now, if we look at this thermostat, it's doing some wonky things. And it's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to kind of turn it. So this was part of the problem, I think, is that I couldn't see the display all the way, and notice this is disconnected. This is a battery backup that's still active because it was just plugged in. I kept hitting the power down, the temperature down button here, right? Watch the temperature. See, there's 61. That's our room temperature, but there's a 44 up there. And then that's supposed to be the time. This says 8:12 p.m. on a Sunday. Not correct. But watch, it goes 43 to 95. So every time I was pushing the go down temperature button, it would backtrack, come full all the way around onto full high. I'm not sure somebody designed that quite right. Now, if you rip off the faceplate here, and this is, by the way, this is it's made by King. Is the brand name there. If you come down here, there's a little switch, and I always remember that if you pull them out, then they go off, and if they go in, they go on. This has been in the off position, okay? And then this over here turns on the backlight to the screen, which wasn't working because the amperage is not right. And the display wasn't working because the amperage is not right. So basically, this is in the off button, but you couldn't turn this fucking thing off. So it kept cycling on according to whatever program is in here from some residual time. And when I'm hitting the power or the temperature down button, it's going back up and restarting at 95 degrees. I mean, two things here. Why, when you're going temperature down, does it hop right up to 95 again? And why is the power off not working? And I had, I think it was Beacon Electric came out and installed these in the circuit. But you'll notice that these are 22 amps and 206, 240 volts. So they're for pretty high systems. Why would this be wired into the 110 volt outlets in the walls? I still don't understand that. Now we're going to walk outside on the patio, right outside the door here, and I'm going to show you my next concern. If you look up over the doorway, all right, you can see the rafter tails. So right, I'll put the pointer. This is a rafter here. This is a rafter here. Here's a rafter that comes out. So the wall cavity is right here in between each of those bays, okay? So if we walk into the room here, those run straight across the wall, right? So these are running straight across the walls. So we ought to be able to see where there's hot and cold zones. Because I was laying here on the couch and I'm like, I can feel hot right now that's radiating down. What is powering that if the thermostat is out? Well, because there's another circuit somewhere that's hidden. Now, there are 3 bunches of wires that come together there. I don't know exactly what's for what, but without a thermostat, it shouldn't be working. Okay, but let's just take a peek. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is showing about 64 degrees. And we come up in the ceiling. And then we come over. And we get into higher temperatures in here. Oh, now it's not going to do it. It was 71 a minute ago. Maybe it's cycling on and off for some reason. But basically, this whole area of the ceiling that runs like in a bay, that runs according to these little wall cavities, was hot in a streak. And it may have shut off for some reason, temperature or timing, but right here in this area was hot and was showing me that there is still an active ceiling heat there. Now here in the laundry room is another zone. Is this the one that hooks up to that one that runs back and forth when it's supposed to be just in the laundry room? But you can see this display doesn't show anything. And we rip off the face. Yep, this was switched off too. It's on that way. So is this controller still controlling that zone over there? Whoa, and then I just see this. Wired to the washer breaker. What the fuck? Okay, this is getting stranger and stranger. Seriously. Wow. Yeah. I don't understand this, why you would but that note in there kind of says, yep, we wired in outlets and ceiling heat together. Not a best practice. Maybe not even legal. Oh, yeah, 72. Now we're getting hot up here. Look at this. Whoa. That zone is definitely on. Wow. This just gets stranger and stranger every step of the way. So what am I going to do? Well, I have some new electricians that are coming out Thursday afternoon. Thursday is going to be a big day because I get the heat pump restarted, so that'll be nice to have efficient, stable heat in the home again, and the ability to dry out the house in winter, which is really nice, and not pay like $350 a month for that, which is extraordinarily high. And I won't have any more of these like 50-degree nights and cold kitties, which would be really nice right now, Miss George. And I'm going to have them take all the zones for the ceiling heat except for my master bedroom. And we're gonna eliminate those from the circuit panel side and cap them off. I can go through the house and do what I did here, and that is take out the old thermostats, wire nut them off. But I want the power. It's like if you have an extension cord or a cord for your phone, you shouldn't leave it plugged in and not attached to your phone, because you're still going to have wire traveling down that resistance and back. And it costs money to do that. It wastes power to do that. And you have a potential fire risk. Well, same thing here is that by removing the thermostat, now we have an open circuit, which is good because it should turn off the heat, although it hasn't here. But an open circuit with both ends capped like I did should stop what I'm seeing now. I think the smoldering has come down. It hasn't quite been 24 hours yet. That's not mold on the ceiling. That's when I was brewing and I had an explosion at 3 a.m. Don't worry about that. It just needs paint. It's the bottom line here is that my doctor was looking at that and she goes, "Deb, you have mold." And I'm like, "No, that's not mold. It's hooch." No, this is stranger yet to see how they wired all this shit together. So I've got these women electricians coming out. Balanced Electrical out of Junction City. I actually took more time and did an actual search for female electricians near me. A lot of people don't know this, but I actually took the testing and applied to the union and non-union apprenticeship electrical programs in about 04, 07-ish, before I became a general contractor. That I scored very high on their testing and was given high marks. I could have gotten in any shop with those scores, but nobody will let me in as a woman. The good old boys club threw their doors shut in my face. Well, I just went and became a general contractor. They all came to me later and said, "Hey, Deb, we want to work for you." And I'm like, "Fuck you guys. You know what you did to me? Do you know how many of those shops I've called since I've been on the job or for here on the house? 0. Nope. I'm not going to play those games. Ever since Title IX got passed and equality in women's sports when I was in high school, like, it's all been downhill for women ever since. What should have made us equal hasn't. And so, no, I don't play by those rules. You want my business, you're going to have women contractors, period. End of story. Well, I found some women electricians, and I'm so excited to support them. So Thursday, we'll have those folks out and see what she has to say about the electrical systems here. And I'm kind of excited to have these women on the job. So stay tuned, because there's all kinds of crazy shit happening here. I had no idea that what a can of worms this was going to be to unravel 18 months later. And it may have started, November of 2016 with the heat pump install. It's just Remarkable. Remarkable. All right, guys, I'm going to get to the root of it. I do have a new air cleaner. There we go. It's called a Blue, I think is the name of it, or Blue Air. And it's supposed to scrub and purify and, do your laundry and cook you dinner at the end of the night. I'm teasing. It's supposed to be one of the top rated air purifiers out in the world, and I've seen some of the values in my air monitoring system show improvement. So I heard a doctor once say, either you have an air filter and you use it, or you are the air filter. So either you have an air filter and use it, or you are the filter. Words to think about. And just in case you wanted to have a peek, here's what the air is looking like tonight, which is pretty decent. Oh, and look at this. My little hot plate burned. See? That happened today too. I think this house is broken and it's time to move. Because it's time for Deb to be done with this fucking bullshit, honestly. This is beyond reasonable at this point. So that's the latest on electrical problems. Thanks a lot, eWeb, for what you started and didn't finish. This is the fallout from that bullshit.